such as...
Towing vehicle.
Oh, we don't need to worry about that right now. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. I'd like everybody to take an aircraft in this order. Pad 1, which is the 4 starboard side. The farthest 4 and starboard side pad will be Death Strike.
Yeah, hang on, I got a bit of a problem here.
Let's see, Pad 2, which is port side 4, the furthest
problem here.
4. Say that again?
Having a problem in my game. I can't see my game. I can see my desktop.
Just keep alt tabbing.
Hold on. Everyone, when you first get into the choppers, take note of what the pad looks like out of the helicopter. It's going to help you when you come in for landing.
Yeah, it's not working.
Excuse me.
Just reconnect, bro.
Yeah. Isn't there a damper command I can use? I can't remember.
If you
no.
see the desktop, that's not going to help you. You'll probably have to restart Merlot.
Yeah, I'll probably disable the beta then, because I'm guessing that's the...
You won't be able to connect if you disable the beta.
Beta? No.
Buns.
Sweet rolls.
Okay, for a second. Alright, so Pad 2, which is port side forward, will be pilot.
Okay.
Go ahead, get in your aircraft. Pad 3, which is starboard 4, is Tassel.
Tassel, come here. Let's go.
So that's your aircraft.
Is that 4 or 3? 80 degrees.
Okay, Pad 4 is going to be Wesley. That's this aircraft right here. Okay, everybody else follow? Yes, yeah, that's fine.
What's gonna be the, what radio are we going to use?
Just this radio, this is fine. 148.
I'm going to be back in a second.
Okay, at this point I'm turning my acre off so you all should hear me. Everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Instead of bothering with the radios. Alright, so everybody should know which pad you're on right now. I'll go over it again just so everybody knows. Pad 1 is Death Strike. Pad 2 is Pilot. Pad 3 is Tassel. Pad 4 is Wesley. Pad 5 is KMO. Pad 6 is Doc. Pad 7 is Fighter. Pad 8 is Merlot. Pad 9 is Orange. Yaxo, can you go put a dot and a number on each pad, please? On the map. Just mark it in global, please. Alright, thank you. So, Yaxo, you do that. Virox, can you take the fire scout, please? Okay, this is what I want all you guys to do at this point. I would, first let's let Yaxo mark all your spots. Yaxo, I'll take fly 2, you take fly 1. Just give us a second, we'll mark your spots for you so you have a reference on the GPS. Go ahead, open your GPS. Okay, very good. So when you open your GPS, you should see you have your pad number down, and that's your reference. Now, everybody open up your map. Okay, make sure your map is zoomed out. Very good. Everybody can see everything that's on the map, yes? Bunch of markers. Okay, go ahead, close your map. This is what I want you guys to do at this point. I want you guys to spool up your engines, although wait for me to finish the instructions first before spooling up. Nice. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is spool up your engines. Can't talk. Second thing you're going to do is put yourself in a hover 5 meters over the deck. Your current elevation is 15 meters. I'd like you to go up to 20 meters. At that point, I'd like you to land. This point of the exercise is just for you to take off and land immediately. So everybody go ahead and spool up. And I'd like you to take off, lift 5 meters off the deck and land. Do it a couple of times. Give you guys 5 minutes to do this. Use those reference points, please, okay? Remember what I said about where your reference points are. Starboard pads have markings, they're just a mirror image of the port side pads. So you're going to need to be looking left for your reference points. Do your best. Who is that? Okay, take time. Okay, everybody get used to what's happening around you. Once you're comfortable with that, the way I like you guys to practice is tilting to your direction. So, if you have a landing pad on starboard side, you're going to tilt right until you're in the orange line. Then you're going to tilt left and land. Do that while being 5 meters above the deck. If you're on the port side, you're going to lift 5 meters off the deck, tilt until you're in the red line on the GPS, and then once you're in the red line, tilt right in order to land. We never, ever, ever fly over the deck to land. Meaning, you never fly over other helicopters. Any questions? Okay, if you're using mouse and keyboard, A and D control your tilt. Take your time with this, guys, and keep your GPS open as a frame of reference. Yes, for your sake, because you haven't practiced yet, because you've had issues, just take off and land a couple of times, and then once you're comfortable with that, tilt over to the right, to the red line on your GPS, and then come back to the left and land on your pad. Do that several times just to get used to it. Everybody looks to be doing very good so far. Bureaucrat, how are they doing? Very good. Okay, guys in pad 5 and 6, that's Camo and Doc. You guys just got to be careful of the island to your right side. Just be very careful you don't clip the island. You two have the hardest landing spots on the whole ship. Okay, Doc, you're drifting forward, so bring it back. There you go. So you want to make sure, Doc, that you can see this break in the white line right where I'm standing. Okay, no. Okay. Okay, very good. Anybody have any questions? What you guys are doing is one of the hardest things to do in a helicopter in Arma, so I don't expect you guys to be 100% with this right off the bat. It's very counterintuitive. If you feel you're going to crash, ditch the helicopter into the water, and the helicopter and yourself will respawn. I was hoping to not have to say that. Remember to breathe, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to breathe. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, actually brings up a very good point. You have very good visibility on this airframe. So if you have track IR or if you have a mouse with Alt pressed down, use your chances for visibility. And the Axle Virox guys, budge in any time, okay? I'm noticing some very good stuff out here. I'm very happy.
Okay, Doxon, Watson, you're drifting forward and back a bit, that's the thing. You need to try and get it fully stable before you go right.
Okay, once you guys are comfortable with 5 meters up, go ahead and bring it up to 15 meters above the deck, so that would be 30 meters height.
Okay.
So 30 meter height is going to be your approach height.
Okay, Watson. The whole trick is getting it close and getting it steady. So, yeah, you can get a bit closer before you start stabilizing. You don't have to be that far away. Yeah, this is good. Go forward a bit. About 5 meters forward, Watson.
And if you guys need to take a break, go right ahead. It's fine. This is pretty white knuckle stuff, so.
If you're using mouse and keyboards, remember the stabilizing is best done with the mouse because it allows for more accuracy. Okay. Going good, Watson. Steady. Bit more right. If you pretty much know where the sun is, you can even use your shadow as a reference of where your bird is. Yeah. Okay. That. Okay, that's nice, Watson. Good landing.
Very good, Tazzle. Very good. Go ahead and let me take a look here. Okay, I see where you are. Just bring it back nice and slow, okay? Not worried about approach patterns yet. Okay, please don't fire. Okay. Remember, everybody, these birds are armed. You do have a full combat loadout.
Question.
Go ahead.
The approach height is 30 meters, and I always tilt left on the LHD with my height of 30 and then go down. Or do I lower the altitude while approaching on the LHD?
Basically, the way it's going to work is you're going to statically approach, you're going to tilt at 30 meters. Once you're over your landing pad, as best as you can figure it out, you're going to drop in altitude. At that point, you're going to do your big corrections.
Okay.
And if you feel doubly comfortable, go ahead and power down your aircraft. And meet me at the aft starboard quarter. This is not a rush, okay? This is not a competition. Take your time.
Awesome, my ASL disappeared. I hate that button.
Yep, just remember that turning the HUD off just turns the HUD off. It does not turn the weapons off. Right. Okay. Okay, and if you're all set, go ahead and power down your aircraft and come back to the starboard aft quarter. And I'm going to turn the anchor back on.
Tazel, nice landing. But you noticed just before you put it down, you corrected heavily with the keyboard.
No, I'm not playing with keyboard, but yeah,
Really?
I noticed.
Oh. It was pretty much a yanked it, but that was. Other than that, it was a nice landing station.
I can't leave it like that. I have to correct it.
Okay, Gross and Yaxo, go ahead and bring it in, guys.
Much better.
I'm wounded.
Escape respawn.
Bloody hell, that one's
See what?
Yeah, the fire starts hard to fly, it's all over the place.
It's the same flight model as
bloody
the
legs.
Wilbur.
You got bloody
Is it?
legs.
It feels a hell of a lot more responsive.
It's because you have nothing to reference. It's like, oh, I have an empty
Yaxo.
screen.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I do have a lesson plan. It's an older version, but I'll update it to send it to you.
Okay, can you just send the old version right now? So I can
It should be in the interest thread.
Okay.
It should be there. Okay, I'm not exactly following it. I'm modifying as I go, just to keep the interest. Okay, so everybody did really well. I'm very happy with that, and you all should be. Are there any questions about anything so far? Very good. Okay, so at this point we're going to go over air traffic control and how to deal with it, as well as controlled airspace. Everybody open up your map. Okay, you'll notice that there are a lot of markers out there. Oh my god, what do I do? It's pretty simple. The white circle, if you zoom almost all the way out, that is the controlled airspace of the LHD. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, the white circle is the controlled airspace. Everything inside of that is controlled by the air traffic controller. Now, let's start at the entry points here. If you look, we have two patterns. We have a port side pattern, and we have a starboard side pattern. So, everybody look at starboard hold. It's a marker in 020019. Everybody sees that mark?
Yeah.
You'll notice there are 4 points to it.
Yep.
Okay, so you just come from LZ Patrick, which is on land. You're flying out to the carrier. As soon as your feet wet, which is naval parlance for over the water, you're going to call inbound. I'll mark that on the map. Okay, so once your feet wet, you're going to call inbound. At that point, air traffic control will task you. So, Yaxo, go ahead, call inbound. Give yourself a call sign.
Ooh, wait one. Okay,
Take potato as call sign.
this is potato 1-2 inbound from starboard side.
Okay,
Is that
so
alright?
just to correct you, the way you're going to call this, no, I'm putting you on the spot. So the way we're going to call this is, let's say my call sign is Raptor. Starbase, this is Raptor 1-2 inbound. That's all you need to say. Okay, you give your call sign, their call sign, and that you're inbound. At that point, ATC will respond. Raptor 1, this is Starbase, proceed to starboard hold 1. Okay, at that point, everybody see the mark that says starboard hold, and then you'll see the 4 marks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are hover points. So all you're going to do is at 100 meters altitude, over that mark, you're going to hover. This is not totally realistic, but just for the sake of Arma. I don't want you guys flying in patterns, potentially crashing into each other. Because IRL, there'd be 3 or 4 air traffic controllers controlling this airspace. In Arma, it's just 1 person. So, okay, you're assigned to your hold point. From there, you say, at the hold point, Starbase, Raptor 1-1, at hold. I'll mark that as well. Wait, I hope I'm marking in group, damn it.
No, that was showing up.
I think it's weird. Just remark these. Okay, so once you're at the hold, you call it hold. Now, you say, okay, Starbase, Raptor 1-1, at hold. You'll get a response that says either Raptor 1-1, Starbase, continue holding, or Raptor 1-1, this is Starbase, proceed to patterns, the starboard side pattern. Okay, you'd acknowledge that, and then you'd fly to the pattern. Everybody clear so far?
Yep.
There's a lot of brevity and stuff in this. So, if you look at the pattern entry for starboard, the orange circle and X, so you'll see that the altitude you have to have is 100 meters. Your speed should be 100 or less. Okay, you have room to go with the speed. You do not want to exceed 100 kph. Okay, you'll notice that now we're on the downwind leg. We follow that orange line south. The triangle is just so you know you're on downwind. Once you are directly across from the carrier, you're going to see the beam call there. So, I've just entered the pattern. I'm flying it out at 100. At 100. Yeah, I know. So, I'm at 100, at 100. I'm flying now. You're going to call a beam as soon as you're beaming the aircraft carrier. All you need to do is say, Raptor 1-1 a beam. That's all you gotta do. Okay? You get on base. So you're going to make, in this case, a left-hand turn. You're going to drop to 50, speed 50. Again, you have leeway here. You can be less than 50 knots speed. You cannot be less than 50 knots altitude. Okay, you have a short base, not very long, couple hundred meters. Then you turn on final. Before you get to final, you'd like your speed to be 30 or less and your altitude 30. Do not want to be lower than 30. Any questions so far? Now's the time to ask them.
Question.
Sure.
As in commercial aviation, we all have to, advise if we are on downwind, on base, on final. In military aviation, do we have to advise if we are on which section?
IRL, in real life, yes. For the sake of this, there's only going to be one aircraft on the pattern at any given time. If you call missed approach, then you're going to go back to the pattern entry and try again. There will not be another aircraft entering the pattern until you have landed. That's the way it's going to work. Just to keep the airspace as clean as possible.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, so we're at 30 on our final. You can call final here if you want. I'd rather you did. It's not an explicit requirement, but you know what the hell, we'll make it one. Okay, you call final. Now at this point, again, altitude 30, speed 30 or less, you'd approach following the orange line, and you'd land at your assigned pad, pad 1, 3, or 8. Makes sense. Any questions so far?
I've got a question again, if it's...
Sure.
So if I'm approaching at starboard and my pad is on port, can I switch to a port final? Or I should stay on starboard final, but in that case, if there's a helicopter on pad 1, I'll have to fly above it, and it's not right.
That's a fantastic question. You're always going to be assigned to a singular pad. You're always going to have your pad. So if you're pad 2, you're always going to land in the port side pattern. Okay? You'll never have to land in the starboard side pattern. That makes sense.
Okay, thanks.
So I'll just reiterate that. If your aircraft is on the starboard side of the ship, you will always be in the starboard pattern. If your aircraft is on the port side of the ship, you'll always be in the port side pattern. Yeah, ATC will always remind you. Never assume, so the pattern might be full at port. So you might have to be brought over to starboard, in which case you cross on final to the correct pattern. That will be very rare, that I promise you. Okay, so let's say that you're landing. You're in on your final, speed 30, altitude 30. You're getting in close, but there's people on the deck where you're supposed to land. Call a missed approach. So at that point, you're going to call Raptor 1-1 missed approach. You'll re-enter the pattern, okay? You keep flying that orange line once it turns into the white line, once you're